Hey everybody, and welcome back to another lecture with Coding with Roby. And in this lecture, we're going to be going over the assignment for FastAPI Alembic. So the assignment that we are tasked with is to add a new phone number as a required field for a user during creation, which is going to be of type string. So we already added this into the models and to the database. We just need to add it to when a user gets created. We are now asking for their phone number as a requirement. We then want to create a new column on address that is called apartment number. So as you know, some properties may have more than one building or more than one living space on a specific address. So you need to separate by apartment number. And this does not exist currently in the database. So we're going to be using Alembic to create a new column on address. And then we want to enable the application to now use the apartment number as an optional field for the address of the user. All right, so let's dive in. To first add phone number as a required field, we're going to have to go to our auth.py file within our routers. Once you're here, we want to scroll down until we see create user. We then want to add phone number of type optional string. And then we just want to scroll down until we can see our create new user. And right under last name, we want to say create user.phone number equals create user.phone number. All right, that may be all we need. So let's type in unicorn main:app -- reload. Open up our browser, refresh our page. If we say create a new user, we can now see phone number is a required field. If we say try it out, we can just keep everything as a string. But for our phone number, I'm just going to say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. And execute. All right, so if we go to our database now, and we say select all from users, we now have our new user, and our new user now has a phone number. So that is awesome stuff. Go back to our code, and if we open up our README, we need to now create a new column on address that is called apartment number. All right, so I'm going to stop my server and type in Alembic revision-m add apartment number column. We can see that everything is done. So now if we head over to our Alembic and go into our versions, we now have a new file where inside here for our upgrade, we just want to say op.addColumn address, sa.column. And in our sa.column, we want to say apartment number, comma, of type integer is nullable of true. And then downgrade, we want to say op.drop column address apartment number. All right, and now let's say Alembic upgrade with this revision number. Go to our database and say select all from address. We can see that we have our apartment number of type integer column added to our database. Okay, now the next thing we need to do is just add apartment num to our model. So I'm going to close our Alembic directory, open up our models, and go to our address. And under here, I'm going to say apartment underscore number equals column of integer. And then I want to go to my address.py file, where under create address, well, first we want to say under our address to add our apartment num of optional int. And then under create, let's say under our postal code, we're going to want to say address model.apartment num equals address.apartment num. And let's try this out. So now I'm going to type in uvicorn main :app -- reload. Go to our application, refresh the page. And let's go to create an address where we now have an apartment number. So I'm going to say try it out. I'm just going to make our apartment number 123. Well, we actually have to go to Postman. So let me just sign in real quick as our user. So we're going to get a token. So that new user that we created of string. Grab this token. Hop into Postman, where we have to change this to address. And that's all. We need to make this a post. Go into here, swap out the tokens. Now I'm going to come in here and grab everything from create address. We get a 200 null. So now if we go back and we run our address, we should have a new address that now has an apartment number. And that apartment number of 2 should correlate to our new users of string. So that should now have a address ID of 2. Yep. And it has the phone number. So there we go. Let's make sure we hit all the requirements. And we did. So that wraps up our Olympic assignment, and I will see you in the next video.